All right, so we're going to be talking about temperature today. To talk about temperature, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start out thinking about positive and negative numbers. So when we look at our number line, we see that there's the number 0, and I know I'm reviewing here, and then there's the numbers that are above 0. These are the positive numbers. And the numbers that are less than 0, and they go on further, but these are the negative numbers. And then 0, it's kind of its own deal. It is, it's not positive, and it's not negative. It's just its own thing, okay? So when we see these numbers, we would read this as -2, this would be -3, -4, -5, -6. So when you see the number, -5, the way we say that is we say -5. That's how we read it with words. Okay. So where we're going to see negative numbers often is on a thermometer, especially in the wintertime, right, here in Michigan. So we're going to look, and I did not feel like sketching out thermometers, so I'm just going to cheat a little bit. Shh, I'm just going to show you my own book here. All right, so if we look on this thermometer right here, so if we look on this thermometer here, we can see that it's in Celsius. We always want to take a moment to study the thermometer. So just again to review here, this thermometer is in degrees Celsius, and the little black line tells us what the temperature is, the top of it. And we see here that this number line, because that's really what a thermometer is it's a number line. We have 0 here. Also, all these numbers above it are going to be positive, and all these numbers below it are going to be negative, and we're going to count up, down. That sounds weird, but you always start from 0 and count up. So you go like 2, 4, or this is by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're going to do the same thing going this way from 0. When you're counting away from 0, you're always counting up. Let me say it that way. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. So this one right here then would be at -4. So we would start at 0 and we would count -1, -2, -3, -4. So we would say that this temperature, that it is -4 degrees Celsius or -4 degrees Celsius. I myself, the book, I know I said says right here -4 for -4, but either way. All right. So then if we look at example 1, for this one, we see that the high temperature for the day was 6 degrees Celsius. The thermometer is showing us the low temperature during the night. So we want to know how many degrees are there between the high and the low temperature. So we are looking for the range, okay? And so let's see, can I fit both? I can zoom out a little bit. Is that going to work? There we go. All right. So for example 1, the high temperature was 6 degrees Celsius, and it goes down to, let's read this thermometer. You better be looking in your own book than to look in mine, but that does say it's at -12. These are counting by 2s. I know that because there's only 5 spaces between 10 and 20, so it must be counting by 2s. So that's going to be at -12 degrees Celsius. Okay? So to decide how much what the distance is between the two, you need to picture a number line in your head. And if we were to think about this, I'm not going to draw it exactly, okay, but if here's 0 on a number line, 6 would be here, -12 would be over here. To count that, to find the change, we've got to find this distance here, okay? So from 0 to 6, how many degrees are there between 0 and 6? There are 6 degrees. And from 0 to -12, how many degrees are there? There are 12 degrees, like 12 actual degrees. We don't have to worry about them being negative. It's just there are 12 numbers between 0 and 12. So there are 18 degrees from 6 degrees Celsius to negative 12 degrees Celsius. So the amount of change is 18 degrees Celsius. That's how much the temperature dropped. It dropped 18 degrees Celsius. All right, now let's look at number 2. All right, the highest temperature recorded in Death Valley is 134 degrees Fahrenheit. The lowest temperature recorded is 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Estimate the difference in those temperatures. So we're going from 134 to 14 degrees. And so in order to estimate those, what we could do is we could use compatible numbers. So we can make these numbers easier to work with. I could round this one to maybe 135 and then this one to 15. Because that way to subtract, I would subtract, because if you're finding the difference between the two, here they're both positive numbers, so you can just subtract and do 135 minus 15. And by rounding the numbers, it makes it just a little easier to work with, because I'm working with 5s here. And so it's 120 degree difference is the range of temperatures in Death Valley. That was 15. I just realized I wrote down the wrong number. But, oh well, guys, you know what I meant. All right, let's look at example 3 together. We have Julius here. All right, sorry, just one moment. There we go. So Julius recorded the daily high and low temperatures in the desert for a week in the table below. So we always take a moment to study our table and see what we're looking at. So we can see that the daily temperatures, that on Sunday the high was 25, the low was 11. We see we're looking in degrees Celsius, and we see that it goes from Sunday through Saturday. So the first question is, what was the median high temperature for the week? So to find the median high temperature, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take each of these numbers and we're going to write them in order from least to greatest. Let's just get to my paper here. So far, I forgot to label this one example 2. I'm really tired today, guys, can I tell you? So sorry that I'm a little off my educational game here. I feel like I'm a little wibbly. I'm doing my best, I promise. Okay, so the lowest temperature on this chart, I'm looking at the highs. The lowest temperature is 20, the next is 25, and then the next is 30, and then 32, and then there's another 32. Yeah, I do feel like I'm kind of rambly, so if any of your parents are listening to me right now, assure them that I'm much more better in person. I'm much more together. Maybe I'm not. What do you guys think? Hopefully I am. I'm much more awesome in person than I am on these videos. 20, 25, 30, 32, 32. Oh, 40 and 45 we missed. Come on, guys. Focus. See, it's just not as fun to crack jokes because there's no one here to smile at me when I make corny jokes. Oh, well. Let's see here. So now we have to find the median. The median is the middle value of the number. We're just going to move in. Bingo, there is our middle. That's our median. The median temperature is 32 degrees. Okay. When you have to answer one of these, where you're telling these different numbers, it really helps me if you write the word median and then put your answer. Because if you just list off 3 numbers, then I've got to guess which one you meant for which problem. Letter B, if you forget to label them. Like if you forget the A, B, and C and you just put the numbers, that's hard on your teacher. Letter B, what was the mode of the low temperatures recorded? So mode, what is mode? Did you say that it is the number that occurs most often? If you did, then you are correct. Did you say it's 32 because this list is right up here? I hope not, because it's actually asking for the low temperature. These were the high temperatures. Sorry. All right, if we look at the low temperatures, we see that there's an 11, 13, 15, 23, 25, 15, and 15. 15. So which number occurs most often for the low temperatures? 15 degrees Celsius is our mode, because there are 3 15s in the list in your book on page 640. And then for letter C, it asks us, what was the range of temperatures for the week? Well, in this case, to find the range is always the highest minus the lowest. So we need to find the highest of the high and the lowest of the lows, okay? So the very highest high temperature is 45. And if you look at our chart, the lowest of the lows was 11. And then 45 minus 11 would give you 34. And so the range is 34 degrees Celsius. All right, so I'm going to have you pause the video, and I'm going to have you do, how long have we been working? Let's do, I don't want you to have to do this for too long. Let's do lesson practice. Lesson practice A. Let's do lesson practice E and lesson practice F. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and do those 3 problems, and then you can restart the video and check your work. All right, so for lesson practice A, we have to read what temperature would be 12, or we have to tell what temperature 12 degrees below 0 on the Fahrenheit scale. Well, 12 degrees below 0 would be at negative 12, and since it's on the Fahrenheit scale, that just means you should have put degrees Fahrenheit with your answer. Letter B, what? No, I didn't tell you to do letter B. I told you guys, I'm tired. Have some grace with me, please. Okay. All right, we have the table of example 3, and you had to find the median of the low temperatures for the week. So hopefully what you did was you went back up to Julius's high and low temperature chart, and you put his lows in order from least to greatest, and then you looked in to see what number was in the middle. And when you did that, you would have found that his median temperature was 15 degrees Fahrenheit, no, Celsius. The book made a mistake, guys. The answer key says Fahrenheit, but that's not right because the chart's in Celsius. That one's not my fault, guys. That one's the book. Okay, 15 degrees Celsius. And then finally, the mean of the high temperatures for the week. Did you remember how to find the mean? Did you remember that you have to add them all together and then divide by how you have? So you should have added 25 plus 20 plus 32 plus 40 plus 45 plus 30 plus 2, and then divided them by 7, and that would have gotten you 32 degrees Celsius. All right, so a really long video, but I'm done talking now, and you can move on to your assignment for the day. So head on back over to Google Classroom, and I can't wait till we can stop doing this and you can see me in person because I miss you guys. Okay, bye.